What happens when two seasoned business leaders get together? They talk shop, of course. Sit back and listen in as Scott DeLong and Vince Moiso share from their experience around current issues facing executives, entrepreneurs, and their leadership teams. The CEO Podcast starts now.
Hey everybody, Scott DeLong with the CEO Podcast. I'm here as always with my partner, Vince Moiso. And today we have a special guest, Justin Breen. Justin lives in Chicagoland and he has written a book. We'll talk a little bit about that, as well as his company, BrEpic. So Justin, how we normally do things around here is we let you introduce yourself a little bit because that way you get the flavor and who you really are. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Grateful to be here. I'm a dad who happens to be an entrepreneur and either spending time with my family. My wife is a pediatrician and COO of second company, BrEpic Network. And then our sons who are 11 and 9, they're both visionaries, Jake and Chase, or connecting visionaries to serve humanity. So most of my days talking to the coolest, smartest, most successful. Many of them are very wealthy people on planet, and then connecting them to other people like that or people who want to be like that. So it's a lot of fun.
So define visionary for me. I heard the word entrepreneur in there, but that's not necessarily what a visionary is, although sometimes. So why don't you give us a definition of what you consider the visionaries that you serve?
Well, so my whole day, again, is talking to people like that. And then most of them are ADD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. It's not a disorder. It's a sign of genius mislabeled by humans. And then I hear blah, 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 and simplify it into patterns. That's just what my brain does. It turns everything to patterns. So business owners, humans, consultants, they care about revenue, employee count, office space, whatever, whatever transactional stuff. So they're trying to change their world there. And then a visionary cares about purpose, true connectivity, spending time with, meaningful relationships. They're trying to change the world, So it's a fundamental difference in way of thinking. And then there are 4 things that separate visionaries from humans and business owners. Four things. And then this is what entrepreneur life, visionary life actually is. So 4 things are bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy, 2, depression, 3, highest level of anxiety you can imagine, and 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult. So for humans, business owners, consultants, which usually, by the way, are less than 3 of those 4 things, not the silver spoons. That's a different discussion, but they're usually less than 3 of those 4 things. Those things are excuses. And then for a visionary, who are almost always at least 3 of those 4 things, they're, figure it out. That's what visionary entrepreneur life actually is. Visionary, most damaged person with best coping skills. The most of those 4 things, but they have the highest IQ, highest EQ, most hustle, no excuses.
That's it. It's interesting to me, Scott. Okay. So we're fellow EO members.
Yeah.
You're EO Chicago. I'm out here in EO Orange County. I'd recently, this past year, I joined the Central Bridge, which they call EO Next. And I love my forum, and I love my previous forum so much. We actually, my previous forum, we have an annual forum meeting, which just happened yesterday. We talked about that very thing. I mean, we talked about how all of us sitting at the table are just, high functioning.
Yeah, functional derelicts. That's what it is.
Totally is. And then it was funny, we can share, all the stuff that we go through, all the things that we have to talk ourselves out of on a daily basis, right? That self conversation that you have to have every day. And then at the same time, I think what we all realized at the end of forum was we've all built, and this is what makes EO so great, in my opinion, is we've got all these just amazing coping mechanisms and these skills that have been taught to us to deal with all of this and be at the level that we're at. So I find that really interesting how you put that. And I think most EOers, if not all of them, would agree.
Well, so thanks for saying that. I appreciate that. All this stuff is a shield for the damage. That's all. So like when anyone, I don't know. Again, I was a journalist for 20 years before starting this. And I don't care about business owner stuff at all. I never have. I don't know what an S corp is, and I just don't care about that stuff. It's annoying to me. You don't get into journalism for that, but um, if it's helpful, if I hear someone leading with three things that are they're like red flags. So, oh hey, I had a big exit. Hey, we just expanded here. We made this list. If it's three in a row, then and many times it's more than three. And again, most of my days talking to ADD, they're just rambling. And I'm not ADD, but if it's three in a row, the next question, I'll just sit there and listen, but then I'll be like, oh, so how's your family? And then 95% of the time, plus percent, they're like, oh, I never had a family, or I'd never seen my family, or going through a divorce. So all this stuff is a shield. That's what it is. So all I do is spend time with my family and connect visionaries to serve humanity. That's it. So I would never let entrepreneur life destroy my family life. I don't even understand that. But I talk to 1 to 2 visionaries every single week that have let entrepreneur life destroy their family life or prevented them from having a family. So, I mean, that's why I wrote the Epic Life book. It's how to build collaborative global companies while putting your loved ones first. So you don't have to do that. But they use it to create it. That's all it is.
I want to take a little different look about that, because I think there needs to be practical application for some of the work that the visionaries are doing in order to get their message to the world. That's one. But the other thing is people need to make a living too, right? So there's a need to have those business people or that business mindset.
Those are humans. That's for humans. Yeah.
Who else are you dealing with besides the humans?
I don't deal with humans. I talk to visionaries. Yeah. So so a visionary will let the humans do the work. Yeah. Visionary just wants to connect and serve humanity. Yeah.
So the visionary.
Yeah, I think
go ahead, Vince.
No, I was just say, I think what he's saying, I'm hearing loud and clear.
That's because you're a visionary. You're not a business owner. I can hear the difference. You're a visionary. You're not a business owner. I can hear it.
And we talked about it. We talked about it yesterday. And this is, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing. It's a choice. We talked about the choices that we have.
You don't make an excuse. I hear the people that make excuses, they're their own limiters. I ignore those people because you can't help. That's nonsense. So people either really like me or they don't understand me. They just don't get it because they're not visionaries. So there are no excuses, none.
No, I agree. And
you agree. I hear that.
what I was saying though, is that I think when I talk to entrepreneurs that have chosen to put their business first, that the key word is choice. And when I talk to entrepreneurs that have chosen to put their family first, key word in that is choice, right? So I agree with you when you say that if I can choose to not let my business destroy my family life, or take away anything from me at all. I'm not going to let it take anything away. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want, with who I want. And those are all choices. Those are all choices. And we talked about that yesterday.
It's not that hard. But people are their own. But again, the answer's already there. Most people make excuses. That is why they're not visionaries. They're their own limiters. So again, a non-visionary will not understand this conversation because they're like, wait, what about this? What about no? What about this? No. Wait. I have to spend time with my business, and no, that's not the answer. So again, when I talk to literally 1 to 2 folks like us every single week that have let this life destroy their family life, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Well, but you hear that. So we could hit end record right now because this just summed up in 8 minutes. It just summed up what exactly my entire life. And then people disqualify themselves with their own mindsets. They just do. And they don't, and that's fine. But the people that I am a hero to, who I connect, they're ones like you. Don't make excuses. And they do not want to hang out with people that make excuses. They don't, because they limit them from actually achieving what they want to achieve.
I think that's important. Go ahead, Scott, because I think we're going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
it's incredibly important.
Maybe not, because I do like, I want the audience to hear both sides of a story, right? And And first of all, I don't think that visionary family are the only two options, right? There's
Yeah,
other.
you're an I. For me, so you would like talking to my wife. My wife is Harmony 1 in Strength Finders and Relator 2, and then she's the COO of the company. She's 100% gray. I think he is, but me, I'm 100% black and white. There's only one way, that's it. And again, most people overthink things and they're underdoers. I will just execute, and that to me is the only way to learn. And I don't. There's nothing outbound, no sales, anything. Just connect visionaries to serve humanity. And then my wife and I are going to Necker Island in a few weeks, where Sir Richard Branson lives. I'm very grateful for that. It's for entrepreneur dads, and then most of us are bringing our spouses, and then so it'll be interesting to see, like, 20 people like me married to likely 20 people stabilizing humans like my wife. But I've known, and it's fine. I understand people either really like this or they don't. But I've found my directness eliminates what I call nonsense and attracts greatness. I don't have time for nonsense. Those people take time away from me and my family. And the people that actually get it, they allow me to spend time with my family. So for me, there is no argument. And then Enneagram, uh, I'm guessing, Vince, if you've taken it, you're an 8 like me. Uh, 8 is to be strong and self-reliant. So eights, not only they like to be in control, but they really don't like it when someone tells them what to do. They really hate that. So Vince,
I'm a DI on disc. I'm
yeah,
huge on disc. So
I'm a
I'm disc.
D, a
Yeah.
little of I, and the other two I don't care about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love disc assessment. I'm fascinated with Enneagram, all that type of stuff. I think you can tell so much
What are you,
about.
Enneagram? Are you an 8?
378.
3? You're a 3. Yeah. Okay. Right. So those are the 3 doer scores.
Yep.
I'm an 8-3, probably 7. My partner's a 3-8. My wife is a 2-6. 2 is to be needed and appreciated. 6 is feel safe and secure. Scott, I don't know if you've done it, but you're probably like a 5-3 or something. Knowledgeable and smart, succeed and achieve, or some type of learner or
My
feeler.
wife is your wife.
2-6,
It's
of
the
course.
same. Yeah.
Well, you people, okay. So okay. So again, here's the pattern. People like us usually, but not always, marry stabilizing humans. Not always, usually, high achieving stabilizing humans. So a teacher, my wife's a pediatrician who's now COO, a nurse, a social worker, a lawyer who's a lawyer, not an entrepreneur. And then one of two things happens. Which I'm guessing Vince is the first thing, which is definitely the case in mine. I'm guessing in yours. The stabilizing human is the biggest supporter, and will evolve with the visionary, biggest fan. That's when it works. I never thought my wife, we've been married, or we've been together almost 20 years. I never thought she would phase out of pediatrics to become COO of a invite only high price point connectivity platform. I did not think that, but she's a machine. And then the second thing that happens that I see is the stabilizing human becomes an anchor and doesn't support the visionary, and it builds resentment because the visionary, they're not going to change being a visionary. They're not wired like that.
No, so
It's
interesting that
horrible.
you say that. So I would you're spot on. My wife is absolutely
Right.
viciously loyal and my
Right.
biggest supporter.
Mhm.
And there was a point in time, because I think, when you're in a relationship, you have to grow together. And there was a point in
100%.
time where we did not.
Right.
And there is that anchor moment. We've been married 27 years,
Mm.
and next
Little
year will be
longer.
28. So it's amazing. We have 2 older daughters, 26
Mhm.
and 21.
Uh-huh.
And it was great, though, that we could come back, because I think, because she's just my biggest supporter,
Right.
we could come back and get in a place where we're growing together. And
100%.
she understands that better than anybody in my life. She's absolutely my best
100%.
friend.
Well, if she wasn't, then
Yeah.
it would have ended horribly, even if you stayed married. So
Yeah.
that's, and then people like us sometimes marry people. It does happen. Sometimes people like us marry people like us, and then one of two things happens. It's like the greatest life ever. You travel the world, like there's just like woo, and but more often than not, it's a total disaster.
Marrying myself would be a
Well,
disaster.
you just
Would
said
be.
right. It would be. It'd be horrible. I'm in Colby. The only thing I write down before I meet someone is their name and their Kolbe score, KOLBE. It's how your brain takes action. I don't really care your personality. I don't care what you do. That's landing the plane stuff. But like, if you take action, and then so most visionaries, not all, they're very high quick start, very little follow through. So they're all over the place. And then usually they're married to low quick start, high follow through stabilizing humans. And then I'm the very, very, very rare visionary that has high quick start and high follow through. That's very rare.
Yeah, I have to look at my Colby. I did the Colby. I don't remember what I scored on that. I'd have to pull it up. But it was a while. It was a
You have
while
to be
ago
a quick
too.
start. You have to be.
I'm sure I recall that I am, but
No,
but
you are. Sure, I can hear it.
yeah, I'd
How
have
many
to look it up.
employees? How many employees do you have?
Oh, uh, we're at 220 down in Mexico, 30 in the U.S.
Okay, so you're can you build anything with your hands? Anything? Can
Can
you draw?
I?
Yeah, can
Yeah.
you can. Okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
you're probably a
No, and
pioneer.
I run multiple businesses
Yeah, of
too.
course. So that's
Yeah,
called
yeah. So
ADD. So you're
yeah.
probably like a 3295. That's a pioneer, Colby. Our sons who are 9 and 11, they're 2296 maniac and 3297 maniac. I'm 8671 integrating maniac, and my wife is 8742 harmony integrator. Um, but the average score of the person I talk to is a 3393. That's pure ADD. Like in normal world, that doesn't really exist. In my world, that's the average.
Yeah, yeah.
And then a 10 quick start is 1 out of 200 humans. It's very rare. But in my world, it's like 1 out of 8 or 9. Um,
Hey,
I know a
Justin,
lot.
let's take this a little bit different because you mentioned we were talking wives, right? But you also mentioned your children.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about that. So,
Okay.
what have you learned from your kids?
Everything. I learn more from them than they learn. So I love that question. Was that the one that I actually wrote, or did you come up with that? Because I love that question.
I'm not that smart.
Okay. So hey, I got to credit myself for my own so um so life is very simple for me. Uh One, because I don't have ADD and no endless shiny objects. I just want to spend time with my family and connect visionaries to serve humanity. But um I look at myself as a bridge between my father and my children, and then my children's children and children's children and children. So I'll explain what that means. Um, my father was 61 when I was born. 61. He was born in 1916, so he'd be 100. Actually, be 108. His birthday, February 8th, 19.
Jeez.
So he died when I was 13, and then
How old was he?
he was 61 when I was born. He was 74, almost 75 when he died.
Mm.
And World War II hero, shot down multiple times in combat, many times without a parachute, and just got back into a plane. So
Wow.
that's a visionary, but most people can't. That's what it is. So like, you either can do that, or you're someone who overthinks and gets, I just don't understand that. But and then he became attorney in Nazi war crime Nuremberg trials, pure visionary. And then after he died, I found a diary of him fighting in World War II, European front. There are diary excerpts in the first chapter of Epic Life book. And every day that he was alive, he said the cream rises to the top, the cream rises to the top. So, visionary is the cream that rises to the top. They won't make excuses. Just do it. So that message just served me well. And then with our children, they're like little versions of him. Our oldest son is he's 11. He's named after my dad. His fastest 5K time, which he did as a 10-year-old, is 20 minutes 38 seconds. So most adults
Jeez,
never
smoking.
smoke. Yeah. So you understand. Most people are like, no,
I
you're like, oh
can't.
my God.
I
Yeah.
can't run. I can't run that.
No, most people could never do that. So he's unemployable. He'll never be employed. The 9-year-old, when he was 8, and I guess is a long way of answering your question, but it needs to be explained. So we were talking. when he was 8. He's 9 now, but we were talking about what life is, and then his name's Chase. So Chase considers life one long great day. One long great day. So yesterday's before you were born. Tomorrow's after you die. So there's no like uh, Wednesday or December, whatever. That's just human stuff. So he's like, there are only two ways to have a great long day, to have that bridge between my dad and children. So
Well, I love the saying, there's only problems in the past and the future. There's no problems in the present.
I'm right here. Present is a gift. That's what my wife always said. Present is a gift. So
Yeah.
that's what it is. So
Yeah.
so the two ways to have a great day: one, create more living things. The fundamental purpose of any living thing is to create more living things. So make a child, a foundation, a business. Like business to me is just an extension of purpose. It's not a business. It's just and then at whatever that is. I don't think there's an argument against that. If there is, then there wouldn't be anything here. And then two, do what you like to do and what you're good at, and just keep getting better at it. So I'd like to be with my family and connect visionaries to serve humanity. I don't think about 3 years from now or five. Just think about connecting visionaries and spending time with my family. And have found this other stuff takes care of itself. So that, I mean, I think that's the number one thing I've learned from my children. But they teach me more than I've taught them, I think.
Let's take a
Yeah, no
look
question.
back to your tagline is connecting visionaries um,
Yeah.
to serve humanity. What is it? What is it that you actually do to connect visionaries to service humanity? How does that process work?
You want the strategy. Okay. Yeah. So again, everything is a pattern. So the formula for creating a successful global company is very simple. As you see a problem, create solution, problem solve, successful global company. See a problem, create solution, problem solve. Successful global company. So first company, journalist for 20 years, created entire business based on how PR firms annoyed me for 20 years. So saw a problem, created a solution. So we only partner with visionaries. We want to connect to other visionaries on shows like this, simplify message, connect to visionary. And then second company, annoyed by platforms or groups that let business owners and non-visionaries in. So created a high price point invite only connectivity platform for visionaries. We're about to be named one of the top 5 masterminds on planet. My partner, who's in California, he does 8 and 9 figure deals all day. He's like a gatekeeper for top 150 family office folks. I don't understand and or care about that world, but he does. And then my wife is the COO, um, onboarding machine, um, and it's beautiful. To answer your strategic question, we just passed 40 members, and only 3 are under a 7 quick start in Colby. So almost everyone is a high quick start, low follow through. So they don't overthink anything. They're just like, oh, I need to meet this person. Okay. Oh, hey, I need to reach 8 figures. Okay, here's this person. Oh, hey, I'm doing this to support female founders. Okay, here's the connection to top female investor, female founder companies. Boom, boom, boom. So it's like it's not spending 50 years to come up with a decision. It's like, oh, hey, here's the answer I need. Here's the connection to the answer. So when you're in a room with all these people, I don't care about revenue at all, but most of them are millionaires, multimillionaires. Many have had 8, 9 figure exits. There's some that aren't, but they will be like that because money is energy. So it eliminates all this complexity that most people are living in. It just eliminates that, and it's beautiful to watch it.
Well, it sounds like either they get what you're doing or they don't, and
That's
decisions are made
correct.
fast, and
Correct.
you're moving on. Yeah. So
Well, what's the point? Yeah, what's the point of
yeah.
arguing with someone that doesn't So people like us are usually, not always, but usually aliens within our own family, community, and verticals. The only people who understand us are top visionaries on planet. A business owner, consultant, human employee, they're not going to understand this. They're not. Because if they did understand it, they would do something. They would do it. If you could tell me, hey, I can spend as much time with my family, do what I like to do, make as much money as I want to, hey, go for it. But those 4 things are excuses or overthinking. Oh, what
Well,
about this? What about this? No, just do it.
Justin, you'll appreciate this though. I mean, there was a point in my life where I thought I had to be everything to everybody, and it just
100%.
It just fucking
How did
confused
that work?
everything. It didn't
Well, you
work.
just
It
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, of course not. But
It
here's the difference: you did something about it.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? The funny part about it is like when you realize that you don't have to do that, and either people get what you're doing or they don't. Man, it just simplifies life.
Everything.
Holy cow, my life is so much simpler. Wow. I mean, just so
Wow.
much stress came off. The weight that I was carrying on my shoulder, all that stuff
Correct.
just went away. Just went away.
And so humans would consider what you just said selfish. It's the exact opposite of that, because if you're not a litmus test for people you serve, that's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. If you can't take care of yourself first or be a hero to yourself first, how the hell are you supposed to take care of anyone else? You can't,
100%.
can't do it.
I'm serving everybody in my life best when I show up as my best self. Period.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100.
But that's also true for others other than visionary, right? That
Fine if you. I don't care though. It doesn't matter to me.
but don't you doesn't it require some of those other skill sets in order to make things happen?
Okay. No, that's what
It doesn't.
no. Yeah, so for managers it does, not for leaders. No, leaders get out of the way. So on Strength Finders, Gallup Clifton, I'm dead last in empathy, second to last in includer. For top visionaries on planet, I have endless empathy, endless inclusion. I'm 31 out of 34 in harmony. My wife is 1 in harmony. 1. My partner is 3rd in empathy. So anything that's a quote unquote weakness is just an opportunity to find a collaborative strength of someone who can do it better than me. So no, I 100% disagree with what you just said.
Well, I don't think you did disagree with what I said, because I think that you need to find what you suggested was that we do need to find these collaborators, the people that can do the things that we can't do.
Correct. And let them do it.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that otherwise, right? But what I'm suggesting is that the visionary isn't the only requirement that we
Of
need.
course, if the entire world was like Vince and me, the world would explode.
Yeah.
We'd be dead. It would be so our firm's partner maybe with 1 out of 1,000 people. It's probably less than that, but it's easier to say 1 out of 1,000. So most people think that's a small number, but 1 out of 1,000, if there's 8 billion people, there's 8 million. There's 8 million.
Scott, it's a testament to what's going on in my business right now. I mean, my ability to run 3 different businesses right now is solely because
Yep.
I've got key people in that business that are leading and doing, and I just get out of the way. Right. And Scott, you're a testament to bringing them up in the way that I needed to have them.
That's a mediator. Right? He's a mediator. Perfect. World needs mediators.
I wouldn't quite call it that, but okay.
You can, all right. However so I see things in numbers and keywords. If I was to guess your Colby, you would be relatively in the middle, fact finder, follow through, quick start, and the last one's implementer, using your hands. But that's a great score. That's a wonderful. And again, I'm endlessly grateful for people like that, because 1, I don't think about it. 2, they're much better at it than I am anyway. So have fun. I mean, that's great.
Well, so I'm glad to hear that, because here's what I heard, Justin.
Of course you're glad, because you need to be needed and appreciated like my wife does.
Justin, let me get through with what I'm going to say, because I want to make sure that this point gets out. Is what I heard originally was, I'm a visionary and I don't care about anyone else. And I don't think that's true. I do think you care about having those other people there for the support system and there for the talent that they have.
Well, okay, fine. We'll move on from that.
Yeah, they're absolutely necessary part of the process. No question. I think what I hear, Scott, is that he's not spending his time thinking about that.
0.0 thinking.
And he's spending all of his time uber focused. Like, honestly, Justin, I wish I could focus.
That's what I hear.
Like you do. Right. I wish I could.
Well, you don't have the follow through to do it. And Colby, you're probably a 2 or 3 follow through. Again, most people I talk to are ADD diagnosed or undiagnosed. I'm just that rare visionary that has high quick start and high follow through. So if you put like a visionary and an integrator into one person, it would be me. And then um, uh, being a journalist for 20 years, that foundation, not knowing anything about business, like I didn't even know you had to pay taxes 4 times a year. That was actually great because I wasn't poisoned by business owner stuff that I don't care about anyway. So had a completely blank slate in entrepreneurship. Started first company 6 days after turning 40 with zero business background, and then just learned very quickly because I'm an activator and very direct like you are what I really wanted to do, and then more importantly, what I just don't even care about. I don't even think about it. So just focus on the if you know the answer in the pattern, you just focus on the answer in the pattern, and then you create your own answer and pattern with it. It's really interesting when that happens.
Well, let's talk a little bit
That's
about
in,
the book because there's a couple, in fact, the key
yeah.
takeaways that you mentioned, a couple of them you've already talked about with the cream rises to the top,
Yeah.
perfection of patterns. You kind of touched on that. But the third one, I like how to build collaborative global companies while putting your loved ones first. There's work to that, right? It's not just do it. There's more to it than just saying, I'm going to do it. How do you accomplish building a collaborative global company while putting your family first?
Well, it's funny because your brain and my brain are collaborative. Um, y- so I'm trying to relate to your brain. It's not easy for me, but I'll try to do it.
Well, it's okay to argue with me too. I'm good with that.
I'm not okay. Right, like everything I say, you spin. Okay, so I'm trying to. So there are only 2 questions I ask myself every single day. Only two. Only two. One, did I have a good experience that day with my family? 2, did network grow on a global level? So every day the answer to that is yes. Every day is a win. Um, and I have found all this other business owner stuff because again, I don't think about it. That stuff is taken care of itself. The epic life, but this is the really interesting thing that I think is interesting. The epic life book was it came out in 2022, it was written in 2022, and that was before it came out before my wife decided to transition out of pediatrics and become the COO of the company. And it's almost like the book was a roadmap for her or for me to talk about this. And then she has been around people like this enough where she decided she kind of wants to be like that and hang out with people like this. So actually taking action and saying, just do it, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to write this book or start this company, that is actually what created it. It was almost like writing a roadmap for yourself and then for the right people, the ones that get it, for those people to follow. So by focusing on those 2 questions and then taking action on what you actually want to do, that's where the magic really happens. Um, and again, I consider myself a bridge between my father and his and my mom too, and then their families, and then my children.
Okay.
So that's my focus. I don't think of myself, well, I know I'm not a business owner. I'm definitely not that, but like that's the way I look at my life. So with that focus and that window, it's a lot of fun doing that.
I think, Scott, what comes to mind for me, Justin, we'll see if you appreciate my thought process on this.
Oh yeah,
But
the
I
answer is
I,
yes.
I
Yeah.
talk about this a lot, though. I hate the bullshit when people get up on stage and they talk about work life balance, and
Bullshit.
it's complete
It's
bullshit.
nonsense.
And what it is to me is that they're basically saying you have 2 different lives. And
100%.
I've always said no, it's integrated. It's
Collaborative.
one
Yes.
life. It's one thing. And then again, we go back to this just simple fundamental thing of it just being a choice to put your family first. That's it. And so then you figure it out.
Right.
You just figure it out. And so I don't think they're like even for myself, like I don't think that there's this just perfect system. If you do this, then you can put your family first. No, you just put your family
You
first.
just do it. It's
And
really
then everything else just you find a way. So you're going to see Richard Branson, who's one of my favorite entrepreneurs. I love some of his quotes. My favorite
Okay.
of his quote is he says, when somebody offers you an opportunity and you don't think you can do it or accomplish it, he says, just do it
What do you?
and you'll figure it out. He's like, for him, there's just no question. You opportunities in front of you.
He's probably
You're
a 10
gonna
start. I would guess
you're
he's a.
you're gonna figure it out. And I love it because it's I remember when I heard him speak and I heard him say those words,
Mhm.
and this was a long time ago at this point. I went, yeah, you're totally right. And I've been doing it completely wrong this whole fucking time. It's
Right.
like what was I thinking?
No, you were around.
Well,
You weren't around people like that. You were
that's
around.
it. So
That's what it
you
is.
mentioned that earlier, and Scott, you brought it up too. Is that aren't we end up being a product of our environment, and so
100%.
ultimately you gotta surround yourself with the
No, you
people that you
create
want.
your own environment. You just create the solution to that's the problem. Wrong environment creates solutions. So it's the
Yeah,
same formula. I just
yeah,
didn't want to be around business owners that limited that. So I just
yeah,
created.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, I love that. Um, I like the challenge. I like being challenged. I
Yeah.
think I think we should all be
Mhm.
challenged to.
Yeah.
But I'm a problem solver. I like to solve problems.
Every great
And
visionary is. That's
but
what
not
they
every
do.
but yeah, not everybody's that way. Not everybody likes solving problems.
Most people aren't that way.
Yeah,
Almost no one is that way.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's that universe look like, Justin? I mean, how many people are these visionaries that you're talking about?
One out of well, now in my
Yeah,
life,
no, not in your life because you're surrounding yourself with that, but I'm the general
one
population.
out of 1,000,
One
maybe.
out of 1,000. Okay.
Probably less. Yeah, because we partner here. I'll even double down on that. Here's what I'll 1 out of 1,000 is the easiest to say. It's probably less than that, but we partner with folks with three attributes, only three attributes in their mindset. One, they're a visionary. So they're not a business owner, they're not a consultant, they're not a human. And a visionary has nothing to do with how many employees you have. That has nothing to do with it. It's a mindset. You see things before others, you solve problems. Okay. Thought world thinking. Okay. Two, you live in full abundance, no scarcity, no excuses. Oh, I can't do this. Sure, I can. Yay. I'm going to do it. Okay. Richard Branson, full abundance. Okay. Three, this is where the fake visionaries get trapped. They're their own limiters. We only partner with folks who look at things as investments, not costs. Anyone
Mm,
who asks, what do you cost or charge? I just stop talking to them because they're their own limiters. They think they're a visionary. They think they live in abundance. But if they live in cost scarcity world, can't afford this, they're not a visionary. They're not a visionary. Can't. Can't be your own limiter and be a visionary.
it's a
It's
good
impossible.
point.
So I like that a lot. In fact, your third point I think is probably the one I'm going to resonate with the most. That we are our own limiters, no matter what
100%.
where you fall on Colby or whether you fall on Disc. It's always the people that are on the limiters. It's not.
Well, I would agree. I would agree with that. But the number behind that, most limiters are less than a 7 quick start in Colby. Most of them.
Hmm.
Because a low quick start means you're afraid of risk. High quick start means for the most part, you don't overthink anything. Um, so if you're a low quick start, it might take you 20 years to make a decision, and then which is fine. Not in my world, but it's
Sure.
but the high quick starts, a 10 quick start, again, 1 out of 200 people in my world, it's like 1 out of 8 or 9. They can either be the greatest entrepreneur. I would guess Sir Richard Branson's a 10 if he took that. I don't know that for sure, but I would guess a 9 or 10. So you can be someone like that or a pure sociopath. There's because there's no breaks.
Hmm.
Most of the people I talk to are 9 quick starts. Vince, I would
Yeah.
guess 9. I'd guess you're a 9. Scott, you're probably a 5 or 6, maybe a 7.
No,
I'm
I'll take the test. I'll find out. I mean, I
Yeah,
actually,
we should. I want to take it over again too. Like
um,
I don't, I'll because who knows where my original Colby is
It
from some
doesn't.
long ago.
Okay,
So
so
we should
there's two
take that.
things
We
from
should take that, Scott.
well, it takes 20 minutes. It's $55 US. I know when someone's not a visionary when they say, "Is there a free version of that?" It's always funny when someone asks that. But the um Colby changes 12% of the time. Um, The only reason I asked how many employees you had, because if you have that many humans, you're not definitely, but you're almost certainly a high quick start. I would say you're a 9. And then where it does change, where at least where I see it change, is it's someone like us who was a low quick start and they took it like 10 years ago, and then they talk like you're talking, Vince, and I'm like, you're not a low quick start, you're an 8 or 9. And then they retake it and then they're an 8 or 9. They're like, how did you know that? I'm like, well, you're not around humans holding you back anymore. You're actually being a visionary. So you're an 8 or 9, because they think they had to be a certain type of person because they were surrounded by, low quick starts, but they're not.
Yep.
So I hate to do this, to be the practical person in the group, but we're
at time.
Mediator.
We're at time.
We are at time.
Okay. Mediate away.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm a mediator now.
Well, you are. You just did it.
Well, I mean, there are practical applications to life, and we got to live by them. And then one of them has to be our time frame. So we're gonna have to go with that.
I agree with that.
I actually enjoy, whether you believe it or not, but I enjoy the debate, the discussion portion of this, that we don't see eye to eye, and I want to find out more about how that world looks, right? So that part for me has been cool, and I appreciate it. So Justin, give us tell the audience how to get in touch with you, if you want them to, or how to get your book.
BrEpicNetwork.org, BrEpic network.org.
Wonderful. All right, folks, that's going to be the end of today's. Justin, I really appreciate the dialogue, the conversation. Vince, for jumping in and the 2-on-1.
Yeah, Justin, I love it, man. Thank you for sharing your life, in a short amount of time, because that was cool and it was impactful. And I appreciate you.
Ditto.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, for everybody, the CEO Podcast, you can see us on the ceopodcast.net. You get to all the different platforms, whether it's Spotify or Apple or YouTube. We're all over that. We really appreciate you listening and watching the show, and give us your comments and feedback.
If you've made it this far, of course.
Yeah,
Visionaries did. The Visionaries did make it this far. Where's this been all my life? Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right,
I love
folks.
it. It only takes one. It only takes one.
1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 100.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
All right, folks. So until next time, we appreciate you listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Shut this
Cheers.
down. That's great. Thanks, guys.
Justin, thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
So much fun. So much fun. Yep.
Thank you for joining us for the CEO Podcast. Please visit us at theceopodcast.net, where you can learn more about our co-hosts and listen to past episodes. If you would like to have a discussion and dive deeper into any topic, there is also an option to contact Scott or Vince to schedule some time with them. Thanks for listening.